I'm 𝗕𝗏𝗿𝗀𝘁, and I'm the founder of Living Well Connections. And I founded Living Well Connections in order to support us all, to educate us, and to empower us all to make healthy decisions toward a more healthy and fulfilling life. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to Dr. Bobbi Kline. She and I met probably three years ago or so, online, and she's an absolute delight. She is a board certified OBGYN, but her practice turned to a different focus. And I'm going to let you tell all about that, Bobbi. So how long have you been a physician? Quite a while.
Quite a while, 30 years.
30, I know. And when we start saying 30, 40 years.
I'm trying to add up, but yeah, probably 35 years-ish.
Yeah. Well, I would love to know what happened to have you switch from the sort of the straight allopathic medicine to look at it holistic, an integrative approach.
As with so many of us, it started with a personal health issue. I was in a busy practice. I loved what I did, but I was burning out, and I just kept saying, there's more to healing. So much I don't know. And my patients would come to me and I would research, and I just couldn't figure out how could I get out of this model while working part-time, 90 hours a week, raising, being a wife and a mother. And so, my first real stark mind-body experience, I got a shoulder injury from nothing that anybody could diagnose, figure out. And eventually I had shoulder surgery and complications that ended my OBGYN career. But it was the biggest gift. It gave me the opening to be able to then go out and explore what are the other modalities of healing that work, that made sense to me, on a mind, body, soul level. And I got into energy medicine, got certified in that, functional medicine. Then I said, well, what's at the root? Why do some things work for some people and not others? How do I get a faster track to finding the answers so we have less trial and error? And that led me to genomics. And then for women, it's all about relationships. How do they impact us, our relationship with ourselves? So then I got into human design as a way to access more of the psycho-spiritual and energetic aspects in a more concrete way. And it just keeps evolving. I've now added epigenetics. Again, it's all about how do I help that one person find the tools that are going to work for them in the best way possible to create health. And for me, mind, body, soul, energy, they are all interconnected. And in order to have health, you really need to address all of them. Some of them may be more in the front burner than others, but ultimately you have to weave them all together. Otherwise, it's disjointed for that person.
That's so true. And it's something that finally people are getting aware of this. I'm hoping we're at the tipping point a little bit, because, just looking at the whole person, it started off just looking at the whole body, and some are behind in that way, but to bring in the soul and to bring in the blueprint of our lives. I'd love to know more about the blueprint that you've been working with, that you do. Yeah. Tell me more about that.
My passion, my gift is to find practical tools. So I studied lots of different things and then pull out the essence. What do I find really works? What's the nugget that I can pull out and then share with people? So for me, the blueprints come from your DNA. I look at your DNA, not from a point of predetermined genetics, but from a point of really small changes in our DNA that change how our genes operate and what we need to support our biochemistry. I look at human design. Again, it's a very practical tool. To me, it gives me a blueprint of who we are designed to be on an energetic and psychospiritual level. And then I look at epigenetics, as another layer of our DNA. Again, different aspects of our blueprint. For me, the epigenetics, part of what's fascinating is that is part of the mechanism by which trauma gets passed down from generation to generation, both individual trauma as well as collective trauma. And there's a lot of really great research. And the epigenetic signature, so epigenetics are just little tags on our DNA that help us respond real time to our environment. We can change those. We can improve those markers. The other blueprints, that's what you're born with, and you learn to work in alignment. The epigenetics kind of gives you a different perspective as, okay, how well am I living in alignment? And it gives us a very dynamic measure that we can create change through our diet, through our lifestyle, through our spiritual and energetic practices. So these are the three areas for me that I find the most powerful.
I mean, that gives us such great hope, because I know, I was in the lab during those years where it's like we thought once we figured out the DNA, then we would like go and say, okay, this person have cancer, and this,
No,
and it's not true.
It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process. They actually just released the latest reference genome, and this one started with a 1,000 people project to make it more inclusive. The original genome was very limited in terms of the ethnicity of people involved. And so the goal is to create a much more accurate reference genome. So that actually just got released. But to me, the more we know, the more we realize we don't know. And I think that's true for me in science, right? But I love, because when you use it correctly, it's empowering. To have your blueprint in front of you, you can all of a sudden, I think intuitively, we all know we're unique. We all know we need something a little different, but to see it spelled out for you, to me, it's so empowering to then go, oh, that's okay. Yes, that is me. That is why I'm me. And it can start the process of letting go beliefs, behaviors, ways of being that aren't aligned with that, and lessens that struggle. And I think so much of health imbalances throughout all areas come because we're struggling against ourselves.
Well, and just to be aware, the knowledge you provide for your patients of themselves, really gives you that firm desire to make those changes, because otherwise it's just another the old, let's just try this, we'll try that. If it doesn't work, we've all been through those journeys,
right? Yes,
we've all been through those journeys where it's just, just try this, and if it didn't work, we'll go on to another medication, or we'll go on to another therapy, another thing. But you actually pull it together and have people have something they can really hold on to in their mind of they're doing these things.
And when in the years of doing this work, what I have found is it's really helpful for me as a clinician, as a guide, as a coach, to have that, because I can tailor how I present information, where I focus, where my priorities are. But it is equally important for that person that I'm working with, because it takes something from that abstract, oh, you're just recommending this because that's what everybody is recommending these days. That's the hot topic. That's the hot focus. Now I understand why you're recommending it for me. And to me, that is equally as valuable. And then they take that with them wherever they go. They're not dependent on me to always be providing information, to always be providing guidance. And so that to me is it just creates a way for each person to really feel empowered within themselves. And that's my goal as a physician, as a coach, as a guide. That is my goal, to help people feel empowered so they can work with themselves.
Trained as a scientist, I was trained I want to know why things happen.
Yeah.
Why does this work? Why does that work?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
And you very much looking forward to learning more about what you're doing.
Thank you. And I'm excited to share. I think this is really fun. And I always love interacting with other people, because I'm always learning too. And it's this open exchange that I think is really what moves everything forward. So,
well, that's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. And I always say, I mean, our bodies, our life, it's like a puzzle.
Yes. Yes. And we try to find all the pieces. There's always just that one piece that somehow
There's always the one we can't find.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Tell us what way, when you're working with someone needs to reach out to you,
Mm-hmm.
and your website is BobbiKlineMD.com.
That's correct. Yes.
Yes. Excellent website. Lots of information there too. But they reach out to you. What is the first thing that you do with them? You know, how do you get started? How does someone get started with you as far as gathering all this wonderful blueprint and epigenetics and stuff?
Yeah. I do have a free course on my website that people can learn more about some of these blueprints. And then where people work with me individually depends on where their focus is. So I have my bioaging program, which people can combine the epigenetics, the DNA, and the human design for a complete blueprint. Some people come in with more of a relationship or a life issue, so they'll come in on the soul blueprint side. Some people are really presenting much more with a health issue that they really want to address, and so they'll come in more on the bioaging side. So it depends on what their immediate needs are, where they feel is the best place to start.
Truly personalized.
It is. There is no one size fits all.
Well, I've learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yes, there is not one size fits all, but you know, you're bringing us into the cutting edge of science, honestly.
It's fun. And you know, I'm teaching right now some doctorate of clinical nutrition students. And the thing I keep trying to emphasize to them is that your background is the foundation. All of the stuff that I do requires the foundational principles of, you know, basic healthy eating, healthy living, right? All of those are key. And then what I do with the blueprint is I help refine that for each person. But it doesn't replace the foundational aspects that everyone needs.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. If you're not in Living Well Connections yet and you want to learn more about Dr. Kline, you have the option for joining us in Living Well Connections, which is our private Facebook group. You can message me, or you can also reach out to Bobbi Kline directly through her website, which is BobbiKlineMD.com. Very easy to remember. I like that. So take care and have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
Thanks so much, Robin.
Bye-bye.
Bye.